What college counselors do. Insider secrets from college admissions counselors. So hello, I want to go over just a few housekeeping rules. Our webinar is scheduled to go for about 45 minutes to an hour, maybe a little bit shorter. We'll see how it goes, but maximum of an hour. This webinar is recorded and you will receive a recording in your inbox within a couple of days. And we really do encourage you to rewatch it, to share it with your network, to share it with your children. If you're a parent, if you're a student, make sure you're sharing it with your network. And we just want to make sure that you get the word out and we offer any sort of support that we can. There's a question and answer box. How do we access recordings? Okay, somebody asked us a question. I will make sure to get back to them. I apologize for that. So you'll receive a recording within a couple of days, typically 2 business days. We do have a question and answer chat box for you, and we welcome you to use it. We'll make sure to save some time at the end to be able to actually answer them. Just to let everybody know, unfortunately, we won't be able to get to all of the questions, but we will try our best to get through as many of them as possible. A little bit of an agenda for tonight. Introductions. We'll be discussing the role of a college counselor. Why do I need an independent college counselor? The importance of college counselors, the role of college counselors before college applications, as well as during the application process. How to choose your independent college counselor, how to work with your college counselor, what you as a student should do, as well as that question and answer that we talked about. So, you know what, before we go into that, just a little bit of a moment for introductions. In case you're new and you don't necessarily know who we are, we're Quad Education. So obviously with low college acceptance rates and fierce competition, it's making it a little bit more tough to get into some of the country's top schools. While high GPAs and test scores can lay the foundation for a stronger college application, it takes more than statistics to really show top universities and colleges why you're an excellent candidate. And that's sort of where we come in. So our college application consulting programs are built to maximize your chances of getting into college acceptance. So we have a team of about 150 plus experts across the country who have a long-standing track record of getting students accepted at top universities. Every college counselor we work with specializes in strategic positioning to show admissions counselors, again, from all across the country, why you'd make a stellar addition to their incoming class. We always begin by learning about you, whether that's your background, your family, your college preferences, your passions, learning more about what helps you personalize your college admissions counseling experience and helps us build a compelling applicant persona and narrative to share with your top schools. We start supporting students as young as 6th grade to ensure that they're building a competitive and standout profile, and support students across the entire application lifecycle. So everything from school selection and narrative building to interview prep to merit scholarship applications to a full application panel review and absolutely and beyond. I know I'm missing things in there, but and beyond. So the admissions counselors that are joining us on this webinar, it's Maisha today, and I'll let her speak a little bit about herself, are part of an expansive team of experts that support students in reaching their goals of attending their dream school, no matter where that may be. If you're interested in exploring options around one-on-one college admissions counseling, you'll receive an email after the webinar that will include a link to schedule a free consultation with one of our admissions specialists. So be sure to look out for that. And I know you're not here to listen to me talk all night, so I'm going to pass it over to Maisha, who can speak a little bit about herself, or I should say herself, and then lead us into understanding the role of a college counselor.
Thank you, Andrea. Good evening, everyone. My name is Maisha Rahman. I have been with Quad since January 2023, so a bit over a year, and I've really enjoyed my time talking to students and being able to mentor students at different stages. A little bit about me, I did my undergrad degree at Columbia University and I studied neuroscience and behavior. I then went on to Albert Einstein College of Medicine to do my PhD in neuroscience and genetics. I now work as a scientist in biotech in New York City, but I really enjoy my part-time job in working with Quad because it's always been a passion of mine to help students get into the college of their dreams, whether it be students at Quad or just my cousins or people in my network. I find it very rewarding. So I'm happy to be talking to you all today and help you learn more about the role of a college counselor. So let's start from the basics. What is a college counselor? A college counselor is someone at your high school or outside of your high school who can help you figure out and kind of make up your mind on what colleges you wish to attend and how and when to apply to them. It can really be your guide through the entire process. We know that it's not a short process. It takes a couple of years to gear up to get ready to apply. And your counselor was here to support you throughout the whole journey and to really help you succeed and put your best foot forward. Now, in particular, the college counselor has a lot of different responsibilities. Some of these include helping you make an actual college list, helping you figure out when to submit your applications, even before the application cycle, trying to figure out what would be the best courses to take while you're in high school, making sure you're meeting the graduation requirements, figuring out who and how, from whom and how to obtain recommendation letters, making sure you send official transcripts and standardized testing scores, working on learning more about colleges, working with you regarding financial aid, such as FAFSA applications, and also looking for local scholarships. So really, it's a comprehensive mentor or counselor that you can have by your side during a pretty big part of your life. Now, what is the difference between a high school counselor and an independent counselor like someone at Quad? So your high school counselor is someone who is associated with your high school, and you can easily access them in person. In general, they are there to also help you select courses, and they're your go-to person if you have any questions about grades, classes, and college in general. They can also help with obtaining recommendation letters, and colleges usually also require a recommendation letter from the high school counselor at your particular high school. Now, what about independent counselors? I mean, it's very similar. Independent counselors also work with you, with your school counselors, but I would say the main difference is that high school counselors are overseeing many students at a time, whereas an independent counselor usually, at least at Quad, we get maybe a maximum of 2 students at a time, depending on our own schedules. But what I'll say is having an independent counselor gives you a lot more specialized, dedicated time to each student. Because of that, you could get a more tailored experience when it comes to having your questions answered and learning more in depth about different colleges that you're interested in. A lot of the times, high school counselors are very good at helping you craft your application, especially to schools that are very commonly sought after in your particular high school, whereas independent counselors have more of a, I would say, varied experience, because a lot of the times independent counselors work remotely and work with students all across the country. In any case, a counselor is a counselor, and as you saw and as you heard, there's a lot of overlap in what a counselor can do. But at the end of the day, it is important to have someone there with you to advise you and to whom you can go to for assistance. So, basic question, why do I need an independent college counselor? Like we mentioned before, it's quite a lengthy process applying to college. It's not just that one last step in clicking the submit button. It starts from an early stage. Having this kind of counselor is like having a cool older brother or sister, or depending on age, a cool uncle or aunt or great grandma or grandpa who can really give you tailored advice and help you get into your dream school. And also give feedback on, what you're thinking about. You don't have to go into this college counseling experience knowing everything already. They're there to kind of help you craft a plan. Moreover, the importance of college counselors. The transition between from high school to college is a pretty big one. For those who don't have, maybe people in their family who have gone to college in the United States or don't have any older brothers and sisters or cousins, it's especially daunting to kind of go, jump into this big life change. So having someone there who is well versed with the experience and can kind of give you personalized tips and tricks and kind of guide you towards class selection, graduation requirements, etc., I think is quite important. Now, what is the role of college counselors before applications? Kind of touched upon this already, but the counselor is there to really get to know you as a person, as a student, because at the end of the day, you want to showcase who you are in your application. That's the best way to stand out, to really be you on paper and in portfolio, meaning your grades, your essays, your statistics, etc. So these counselors will understand your particular interests and follow up with helping you select classes, planning your actual high school schedule and your coursework, and can even go as far as to offering career advice and suggesting extracurricular activities, which will help you be a more well-rounded candidate when applying to colleges. So really, it's making sure that you're ready from the get-go. And what's the counselor's role in the college application process? Well, there's a lot to be done when it comes time to actually apply to college. There are a lot of deadlines, so it's essential to create a timeline, especially if you're applying to many colleges, to make sure that you know what is due when, and your college counselor will help you with that. Second, the counselor will help you craft an application strategy, what strengths you have, and point out what strengths you have and kind of focus on those. They'll help you actually submit the application, make sure you're not missing any pieces, making sure that you're submitting any other scores or letters that you need to. They can also help you with interview preparation, as well as following up with schools and communicating with schools in an official manner. So how do you go about choosing an independent college counselor? Well, it's important to look for reputable organizations. Definitely look through websites of companies like Quad and others who offer independent college counseling. And look at the review, look at the feedback, read about the counselors, learn about their backgrounds. Certain organizations also provide certifications like the ones we listed here, NACAC and RECA. Another thing to keep in mind is, would you prefer to have an in-person independent counselor, or are you okay with having online virtual sessions? So that can also help you make a decision. So it really depends on who you feel most comfortable with, who do you think you can trust, and do you think you can depend on this person? So it's important to look around, do your research, and make sure that you would feel comfortable with this particular counselor or a counselor from this company helping you out. So how does it work? How do you work with your college counselor one-on-one? So step one is to figure out what matters to you. What exactly would you like to get out of this working relationship? What kind of advice would you need? What is the most important to you in this process? Step two is to share your goals and needs. Make sure you're communicating this clearly with your counselor because they're here to, really help you out. That's their job. And step three is to listen to your counselor. So if you feel that you have a nice relationship with this person, you feel like you trust them and they seem experienced, I would suggest to listen to your counselor because these counselors have many, many years of experience with many, many different kinds of students. And of course, you don't have to, blindly listen to your counselor. It's important to have an open avenue, open channel of communication where you can feel comfortable asking questions, giving feedback, getting more tailored advice. So what should you personally as a student do? Well, here we list a bunch of tips. Let me point out a couple of them. So in terms of making the most out of these college counseling services, it's really, really important to be open and honest. You don't want to feel shy or hesitant with this person because they're going to try to make you stand out, your personality stand out on your application. And to make sure you get the most of this experience, you want to be honest about what you want, where you want to go, what your concerns are during this application process. Definitely take advantage of all the resources offered by your counselor. Both high school and independent counselors will direct you to college websites, maybe different webinars like these, direct you towards different studying softwares or packages. So it's important to kind of take advantage of everything that is being offered to you. And again, don't be afraid to ask questions. Communication is definitely key. And as a student, it's also really important to make sure you yourself are keeping track of deadlines and important dates that your counselor is pointing out to you. So definitely, like personally, I am a planner girl. I love to have a planner and make sure that I have things in my calendar. And when it comes to applications, I think this was super, super crucial. I had a Word document with everything planned out when it came to when I need to submit standardized testing scores, if I have all my numbers are correct, which applications are due on what dates for different schools. It's really important to stay organized so that you and your counselor together can really be on top of things. So next we have strategies for proactive engagement with the college counselors. Definitely take the initiative to schedule meetings with your counselor. It's very helpful to meet with them regularly so that you both can stay on the same page. And if you have any changes in what your career aspirations are, what colleges you want to apply to, you'll both be prepared to take the next step accordingly. It's important to not only depend on your counselor to research colleges for you, but also to personally do research on different colleges and also scholarships that you might be eligible for independently. And definitely you want to make sure that you personally follow up on action items that your counselor may suggest for you. And lastly, the importance of self-advocacy in the college planning process. Like I said before, this is all about you. your application will really highlight who you are. And you want to take ownership of this journey by making your own decisions, because by the time you'll be leaving high school, you're entering into the next stage in life as an adult, and making these decisions yourself, or with help, of course, but making sure that you also, trust in the decisions that are being made and you are making, is very important to make sure that you have a satisfying and happy college experience. Definitely advocate for your needs. Again, communication is really crucial. Be proactive in seeking external opportunities. If you find that you may have some sort of opportunity outside of school, maybe doing an internship with someone, tell your college counselor. They'll be happy to make the experience even better for you by giving you some tips or ideas. And lastly, trust your instincts, voice your concerns, talk to your network around you, make sure that you feel comfortable with what you're doing and the decisions that you're making, and make sure you're comfortable with your counselor. And also, if you feel that maybe the counselor that you have is not really connecting with you, it's possible to also ask for a different counselor if you find that that's what you wish. But at the end of the day, just having a college counselor who is taking the time to really learn about you and provide their expertise and tips and tricks, I think it does really make a huge difference when it comes to applying to colleges.
Amazing. So it looks like we're running a little bit early. So I love this. It gives everybody an opportunity to get their questions in, and I encourage our audience to do so. Thank you very much, Maisha, for going over this and just being of such value and support to our students, and the parents on this call as well. So I'd love to know, just looking at it from a sort of a high level perspective, what do you think is the most crucial, the most important piece of advice that you have to share with parents who have students going through this? And on the flip side, what do you think the most important piece of advice you have for the students actually going through this experience, whether it's, the personal statement, brainstorming and editing, whether it's, interview prep, the scholarship application support that we talked a little bit about, whether it's the college list creation or the essay editing, or even sort of the college admissions committee review. I'd love to open up the floor to you.
Sure. So when I think back to my time applying to college, which was quite some time ago, but I think 2009, I'm reading myself, 2009, I will tell you that although we had some great college counselors within our high school, like our high school guidance counselors, I always felt that my counselor did not really know me personally. The first time that I had really interacted with my counselor was, I think, at the very end of junior year, because we had a couple of counselors who had either left our school or had changed jobs. So I didn't really know my counselor, and I personally felt that I wanted to have that experience, that relationship. I didn't think it was as easy to, get that time with my counselor because it was a larger school. We had 450 people in our class, in our graduating class, and maybe there were 6, 7 counselors. So I felt that rather than it being a very tailored experience and like really me sitting down and explaining who I was, what I wanted, what my goals were when it came to applying to colleges and a career, it was less personalized than it could have been. And I think that's for 2 reasons. Because one, there wasn't enough time to have had built this relationship, and two, because there are so many students, it is harder to get that one-on-one time and that personalized experience. So I do really find it awesome that in the current um, like day and age, it's very common to have a college counselor who's like very gung ho, and ready to kind of be with you through this stage and like really give tailored advice. For parents, I think it's really important to be involved. Um, as I'm sure all the parents here are very much involved, and that's why they're attending this webinar. But being involved and really making sure you're listening to your student, to your child. I know it's a tough time for everyone, but try not to put too much pressure on making this next decision. So definitely be involved, be there for your student. Don't put too much pressure, because this is quite a difficult time, and no matter how competitive your student is, it's a super competitive, I would say, market when it comes to colleges. Admission rates are very, very low all across the board, not just like the Ivies or Ivy Pluses. Being involved with your child's counselor is also a good idea, whether it be the high school counselor or an independent counselor. I think that's just another way to be involved. For students, I would say definitely take the initiative and definitely be true to yourself. Don't say that, oh, I want to go to this college because my friends want to go there. It might not be right for you. Take the time to research these colleges, take the time to talk to alumni, take the time to tour campuses. I find that is very, very helpful to see if you can imagine yourself there. And take the time to be open and honest with yourself and with your loved ones and with your counselor, because I think it'll make the whole process a lot smoother.
Wonderful. So we have a question coming in, and I absolutely love this. When you are looking for a college counselor, what sort of questions should you ask of them?
I guess it depends. It depends on your preference. I know some parents and students prefer excuse me, to work with a counselor who has had students in the past who have gone into their school of choice. I would say that's not a requirement, but I've had some parents ask, what schools have you guided students towards? I think the most important questions are, how much experience do you have? Do you have success in helping students get into the college that they really wanted to go to? Are you up to date on all the requirements for colleges these days? Standardized testing, digital SATs, AP requirements, etc. I think those are my main points. Do you have any others, Andrea?
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting because um, what we always recommend is asking questions that align with your particular goals. So whether that be, asking them about, even asking them about their experiences with the particular college or university that you'd like to attend. I love the point you brought up about standardized testing, asking questions related to extracurriculars within an application, asking about what do college admissions counselors or college admissions officers, I should say, look for in an application, asking about letters of recommendation, all really important questions to ask, right? And really to make sure that it's a right fit, making sure that they understand who you are, making sure they understand. And that's something that we try our best to do here. It's really making sure that there's an alignment, right? So it's you learning about them, but it's them equally learning about you, right? Your passions, your family, your college preferences, your background. What are you looking to get out of this experience? And just really making sure that whatever you do ask is personal and in line with what you want for yourself. And then after that is when sort of the counselor steps in and helps build a profile, a persona, a narrative to share with whatever your top schools may be.
Yeah, that's a good point. You definitely want it to be the right fit.
Yeah, absolutely. It has to be the right fit.
Because it's a long working relationship, ideally.
Ideally, absolutely. Let's see. So when is the best time to get a college counselor?
I would say there's no perfect time, but the earlier the better. Mainly because, like we mentioned, the counselors really can help guide you towards selecting the appropriate coursework for your, career aspirations and college aspirations. They can help advise you on what extracurriculars you can take, advise you on how to look for external opportunities such as research or internships. So I would say the earlier the better if you're able to.
Absolutely. How soon should you secure a college counselor? Awesome. We'd love to see that question in there, and I think it's really important, right? Um, there's no set time. Every college admissions firm that you work with has their own has their own process with how to do it and sort of what makes sense. And then with us, you can start as early as sixth grade if that's what makes sense for you and your family and your goals. Um, so it very much does depend. Let's
And
see.
if
Is there any?
you find that you do have, high school counselors as well who are ready to kind of, be there for you, it's good to check in maybe even like freshman year to see if you can build a working relationship with them as well. Because the more mentors and the more advice you get, the better and easier the application process will be.
Oh, of course. If you think about it, when it comes time to letters of recommendation, um, those are some potential individuals that you can ask for, especially your college counselors.
Right.
So let me see if there's any more questions coming in. Maisha, do you see any more questions in our chat? Froze up on me.
I do not see.
Let's go through this. So, as a counselor, as somebody who does this as part of their living, what do you enjoy most about the experience? Let's hear from you directly. Hotspot.
I just think it's really fun to meet new students because everyone wants something different. Like no two students are the same. Seeing how unique everyone is, it makes it exciting when it comes to helping craft an application. Like everyone's personal statement ends up being so different. For me, that's like the most exciting part, reading the final personal statement. I think it really showcases who you are as an individual and like how you want to present yourself to your college. That's always really exciting to me.
Amazing. Oh, this is a question a little bit off topic, but we love this. We actually did an entire webinar last week talking about sort of letters of recommendation. We can definitely send that out to the individual who asked this question. But who are the best letters of recommendation from?
I wouldn't say there's like a particular title. I would say it's whoever knows you the best. It doesn't. So let's say you're interested in applying to college and you're interested in applying to a science program. Of course, it would be good to have a college letter of rec from someone in the realm of science. But let's say your art teacher knows you really, really well and knows who you are, what your passions are, what your interests are, and can vouch for you. I would stick in a letter of rec from the art teacher as well as a science teacher. So, I would base it more on who can really write you a personalized, strong letter rather than who do you think might look the fanciest or most appropriate to the college counselors or college admissions officers. And it's always nice to have, one extracurricular or external research or internship opportunity of someone who isn't only your teacher. So ideally someone who oversees you in some sort of leadership role or some sort of, team player role, something that can speak, someone who can speak to your qualities outside of only academics.
Hopefully that answered your question. I definitely think it did, but we love hearing from our audience. So I will give everyone a couple, maybe a minute more to get in their questions, and I want to make sure that I'm mindful of time. We keep having a few individuals ask us about the replay. No worries whatsoever. We'll make sure that you do get a replay so you can, if you do need to step away, we understand completely. Let's get this going. Maisha, it doesn't look like there's any more questions in the chat. Do you want to just triple check for me before we let our individuals go?
Sure. Yeah, I think just the questions about quad in particular and the costs associated. So those I think can be answered after like a one-on-one.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, we love this. Are there any common errors or skip steps that should be taken when applying?
You definitely want to double, triple, quadruple check everything, and not just personally. Have your counselor check it, have your parent check it, have your sibling check it. Make sure there are no typos in your personal statement, because college admissions officers spend hours and hours looking at so many applications that these tiny little mistakes do stand out. Typos I'm referring to. And make sure you get your test scores submitted on time and properly through the College Board website, because that's a separate process that you have to initiate. Someone won't do it for you, so make sure you get that in.
And of course, that's something that you can go over with your counselor. So our counselors have their own processes and they have their own ways to ensure that nothing gets skipped or errors. Essentially, we try and streamline the process as much as possible. Additionally, for individuals who maybe are not in a place where they can, work with a consulting firm such as ours, we have a ton of great resources on our website as well, to ensure that, for example, you're not skipping steps or that everything is streamlined, including some really important key dates. It's interesting because just to add on to your response, sometimes it's those minor dates, right? There's so many moving parts when it comes to a college application, and often or not, students, sometimes you forget or you put the wrong date in your calendar. So we have tools on our website that kind of help you narrow that down and help streamline that process as well. Yes, the webinar is recorded, and yes, every individual on this call will receive a recording within the next couple of days. So we aim for 2 to 3 business days. Awesome. So it looks like we've gone through a ton of how to get a awesome. So somebody just asked how to get a one-on-one introductory session, a call. So I'm going to drop a link in our chat. Here you go. Awesome. I'm going to also highlight that so it doesn't actually get lost. A part of what we do is that we have, like I said, a one-on-one free consultation. You actually sit down with our team and we can go over any and all questions that you have about the college application process. And that's whether you're interested in college candidacy and development, undergrad transfers, or even graduate school, as well as SAT, ACT prep, as well as K-12 school admission support. So across the board, you're able to sit down with one of us and not one of us, but within our team to go over that. It's a free service that we like to offer to sort of help you along every step of the way, and that's for parents as well as students. Perfect. Okay. So it's about 45 past the hour. Thank you very much, Maisha, for your time. Thank you for all the value. Thank you for being so thoughtful and open and engaging and educational. We absolutely love that, and we appreciate you here at Quad. And to our wonderful audience, thank you very much for being here. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please do not hesitate to reach out. And I did drop that link in the chat for the individuals on this call. I hope everyone has a safe evening. Have a great night.
Bye.